Should we do one more?
Yeah, if you really want to, we could do it at 30.
Yeah, let's do it at 30. All right.
2 claps.
Perfect.
They call me. I can't. Never
You
mind.
can't do it a third time.
It rhymes.
Then it's not 2 claps anymore. Then it's 3 claps, Tiago, and we're getting into a weird territory there.
I'm sorry. It's the first thing that if I see the number, if I think of the number 2, I immediately go. They call me Tommy 2 and then blank.
Yeah.
And
They call me Tommy 2 verb.
They call me Tommy 2 verbs because I always verb twice.
I like that one. That's a fun outlawed name.
Oh God. Let's get someone arrested.
All right. Order in the court. Oh, hello. I didn't see you there, Internet. Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotseben and Friends where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
2 friends of ours, Tiago.
Yeah.
And Rose.
Hi.
If you're a first-time listener, boy, did you pick an odd time to start listening. Dessy and I are the longtime fans, and Rose and Tiago are the newcomers.
Okay.
We hope that through both of our perspectives as we play through the series, it'll reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for a series that's near and dear to us. Today, we have all played through the second half of Case 3-5, Bridge to the Turnabout, the 5th and final case of Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, which is the last game of the Phoenix Wright trilogy here. So, you know, like I said, if you're a first-time listener, big spoilers, maybe go back and check out the first episode instead, because you can listen in order and get the whole story from beginning to end.
Ben, I have
yes?
to say this because I'm still losing it, and I know that Discord has me noise suppression by Chris right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have never started off a recording with Ben saying "order in the court." And this was the episode where Ben started with "order in the court," and we all shut up.
I don't know if that was in the recording.
It was in the recording.
Oh, all right.
It is in the recording, and I'm just thinking about. We've never started off with "order in the court."
Well,
You're just saying that it's such an easy line to go to, and you're surprised that I haven't done it before.
I'm just. I guess
It's low-hanging fruit, Tiago. I had to save it for, something like this. That's the finale of the whole trilogy.
We also needed order in the court, otherwise we were going to keep doing the Tommy 2 claps bit.
Listen. That's not going to be in the recording.
All right, fair enough.
That's what you think.
Fuck.
I was like, that's going to be in the recording now.
Well, god damn it. Okay.
So welcome, everybody, to the second half of Bridge to the Turnabout. Last time, we played through the first 2 segments of this case, which was the first investigation and first courtroom segment, in which Phoenix and Maya and Pearl all went to a meditation retreat for spirit mediums, and things went horribly wrong.
As they do.
Yes. So Elise Dunim, a child storybook author, was murdered here. And Iris, another nun at the conclave, was accused of this murder. However, in addition, other things that happened was, the burning bridge. There's a burning bridge that had gotten struck by lightning that Phoenix attempted to cross to get to Maya, on the other side of a ravine because he was worried that she could have been trapped with the murderer. And he fell into the water and nearly died. And so Edgeworth had to take over. So we got to play as Edgeworth last time, which was very fun, and go through the first courtroom segment up against Franziska von Karma, attempting to prove that Iris did not actually murder Elise. This time around, Phoenix has now recovered in the hospital, and he's gathering all of his materials together and meets up with Edgeworth by Dusky Bridge to start talking over the details and figure out exactly what happened. So Gumshoe is working on the bridge and attempting to repair it. So he tells Phoenix and Franziska, like, hey, listen, it's going to take a little bit of time, so go investigate somewhere else. So Von Karma follows Phoenix around and assists him with the investigation. So you get a little bit of...
the greatest day of my life.
You get some Franziska and Phoenix pairing here while they go looking around the temple.
I wish that Phoenix just took away the whip.
You know he wouldn't, though.
Someone fucking needs to.
Everyone just lets her do whatever she wants.
She's gonna kill somebody.
Yeah. Probably.
Someone's gonna die with that whip, and like
she whipped somebody so much they got knocked out.
Yeah. And then they
poor Gumshoe.
You think Gumshoe's gonna be the one to die?
Yeah, I'm 100% certain of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to start to get us into the critical stuff, Wright meets Bikini, and Bikini is like, well, hey, bad news, Phoenix. Nobody noticed, but Pearl's been missing. And Phoenix is like, wait a minute, what the hell are you talking about? Where's Pearl?
Noticed.
Everyone noticed. Fucking Miles noticed yesterday.
And so Wright also notices that Bikini refers to Elise as Mystic Elise, which is very interesting. And when he says, well, who is she really? 5 psyche locks pop up all over Bikini.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the moment when Gumshoe shows up and says, hey, guess what? The bridge has been repaired. So you run across the bridge and meet up with Edgeworth and everybody over there, and you find Pearl all by herself, crying, and she had gone across the bridge before all the shit went down and was stuck over there overnight.
She was worried for Maya.
Yeah. You then also get to go into the Sacred Cavern, which is where Maya was training, and it is sealed with a trick lock that looks exactly like a psyche lock, interestingly enough. And the Misty Fae picture scroll is covered in gravy. Godo shows up and tells Franziska, guess what, I'm taking over. So there's a lot of back and forth between Wright and Godo, in which Godo is kind of like, you fucked up. You haven't done a good job. And Wright's like, what in the world are you talking about? He's
honestly,
like, you didn't protect any of the women in your life.
What is he talking about?
You should have defended Maya and Mia from just the repercussions of life, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
just somehow you should have known that.
How come
you,
a man, are not responsible for the actions of every woman in your life? How dare you?
Yeah.
Casual
it's
misogynist
wildly old-fashioned. Yeah. So they start working on undoing the locks, but of course it's going to take a while. So there's some more details here. I guess I won't get quite into every single detail, but there's a lantern outside that they find bloody writing on that says Maya in it. There's melted snow around it in a perfect square shape, and Gumshoe and Wright go over this together. They run back out to the other side of the ravine again, and two things happen. One, Phoenix goes back to Bikini and is like, listen, we gotta talk now. tell me everything. And you break all her psyche locks. And so Elise Dunim is actually revealed to be Misty Fae, a.k.a. Maya and Mia's mother.
I'm pretty sure I said that once, and therefore I'm right.
That was that was one of our predictions.
I think, yeah, that was one of your predictions. So,
10 points for us. Everybody give us $1.
I was so afraid for a second when you said 10 points, and I thought you were gonna make I thought you were gonna make a reference to a horrid teen young adult novel.
Who the fuck do you think I am?
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Who the fuck do you think?
I
am. So the other detail that they drop that's a huge bombshell here is that Iris and Dahlia, we start to like piece these two together, and I don't think it's quite here, but we might as well just drop it in here because they're all linked together. Is that Iris and Dahlia are twin sisters?
Twins,
yeah.
Another one of our predictions.
Yeah, they're twins. They like go on to say that like, oh yeah, Iris has a twin sister, and Phoenix is like, what? And then they're just like, oh yeah, their father is a jeweler, and it's like, oh, okay, and their mom is a head of a branch family in the Korean school. And it's like,
yeah,
wait,
it's
what?
Morgan Fay. Yeah, and it's revealed to be Morgan Fay. So yes, Pearl's these are Pearl's older sisters, Iris and Dahlia.
But she doesn't know they exist.
Pearl doesn't
because
know
they were sent away.
Pearl doesn't know about these two fucks, and those two fucks don't know about Pearl. So it's like, we're all just sitting here sort of related to each other.
And then shit goes down, and earthquake happens.
Duh.
An earthquake happens as Miles Edgeworth is bringing Iris to fix the trick locks.
He's escorting her over to take care of the trick locks, and briefly, yes, as the earthquake happens, Miles cowers in fear because of his childhood trauma.
He literally falls unconscious.
He has a
panic attack so hard he passes out.
Yep.
And then he loses control of Iris for a second.
Yeah, she runs to the inner temple, and where Maya would be being held, because when you run back there and you find her, she goes, oh, I ran back here because I was worried about Maya getting trapped in this fragile temple. I was worried it was going to collapse. This has been established earlier. Everybody is worried about the temple possibly being old and rickety and collapsing. So
old and rickety and collapsible.
Yes, collapsible.
Me too.
Yes. So then now that you have found Iris again, you sit there with her and go, all right, we're finally going to get into some of these details. And you start to confirm, a bunch of the backstory with her. And then she gives you her tragic story of being the daughter of this jeweler. And she starts to let on that, some things to Phoenix, but not quite everything. You're still piecing things together. Edgeworth swears up and down that these people couldn't be related, and then you have to bring the evidence to him to show that Dahlia and Iris are twin sisters.
They literally look the fucking same, Miles Edgeworth. Are you?
Yeah.
If you don't believe in magic, you have to believe in science. And you know that twins exist out there in the universe.
Well, yeah, but one of them's dead, so it's impossible.
You can't wait. You can't have a dead twin.
Yeah, you can't. If your twin dies, you die. Didn't you know?
Yes. To be clear, Dahlia was executed for her crimes in the earlier cases 1 month ago.
She was fucking hanged.
Yeah, it's revealed she was hanged.
This is actually the dark age of the law. Like, what the
Does that...
fuck? I mean, she's a serial killer, but like, what the fuck?
So like, so every other case that we've had before this, how it works is your judge, Moe judge, would just like determine whether or not the client is guilty, but he doesn't actually make the sentences. That's like another court case. That's like another judge that does it. So this judge, your judge, Moe judge.
There's always the one where you're trying to find someone guilty, and then you have the sentencing court, which is a separate day usually.
So the sentencing judge heard about Dahlia Hawthorne, who was responsible for the deaths of multiple people, and said, "You will now receive a cowboy's death. You will now be hanged." And it's like, what the? It's 2016. Y'all don't have like lasers or like a fucking
lasers?
something
they
more
gonna do with the
humane than
lasers?
hanging.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
anti-death penalty, so there
We're
is.
all
Yeah.
listen. I understand anti-death penalty. I also just also anti old-timey deaths.
Yeah, no, there's no there's no ethical way to execute a person, but like, you could at least try something else.
There's
That's not hanging.
Yeah.
there's more unethical ways.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
We need.
put some effort into something.
So Dahlia Hawthorne's dead, and that's why
Yes.
Iris is not Dahlia Hawthorne. It's because Dahlia Hawthorne is dead, and in this case, that is specific around a certain group of people. I would say that may be relevant information.
Yeah. Given the presence of spirit mediums. So yeah, we continue with these with like some running around and investigating. It's established that there is, since we figured out that there's going to be a real murder weapon and it was not the 7-branched sword like originally thought, there's the hunt for the real murder weapon. There is the letter. We are looking in again to the letter for that Pearl was given with the instructions, and eventually Gumshoe and Phoenix find Misty Face staff, and using a using a metal detector on it, they realize, oh, this thing's going off for a wooden staff. What's in here? Oh, it's a staff. It's a hidden blade inside this staff. Misty Faye was carrying around a fucking sword.
That's metal as hell.
That was very
Yeah.
cool.
It was metal. It set the detector off.
All right. We also found out that through investigating what is it? Wait, who fucking found the letter in the so there was a furnace and there was a burnt letter.
Gumshoe gives us the letter.
Gumshoe gives us the letter because he dug it out of the incinerator.
Why
Which
are all
is
the
like-
incinerators in this game shit?
Yeah.
None of them actually incinerate things completely.
Shout out to case 2-2 where someone else tried to incinerate some shit. So it was instructions for Pearl, and Pearl got a nice letter from her mom that said, "Hey, honey, I'll take care of you. Just real quick, can you channel someone for me?"
Can you channel
Mhm.
this person you don't know who is, again, cannot stress this enough, a serial killer?
Pearlie doesn't know.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
She's
And so the thing
little.
is since she's such a little kid, she also doesn't completely understand her mother's letter, which told her to do all this stuff, which will help gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades. But not knowing exactly what that meant,
No idea.
Pearl instead took some gravy from the kitchen and splashed it on Misty Faye's scroll, and that is why the scroll is
She
covered
thought
in gravy.
that was her mission.
And again, a fun little translation bit, which we looked up while we were on stream because we suspected this might be the case. But yes, it is curry in the original
Yeah,
game.
I was gonna say.
So they're doing a little bit of localization work there to make the gravely and gravy pun work here. So yeah, but Pearl tried to follow the rules of her mother's letter. She tried to channel Dahlia's spirit, but she couldn't do it. For some reason, no matter how hard she tried and tried and tried, she could not do it. And Phoenix is like, well, why would that happen? And Pearl's like, well, obviously I lost my spiritual powers. And Phoenix is like, are you sure? Are there any other reasons why you couldn't channel a spirit? Pearl's like, well, I guess if somebody else was channeling the spirit at the same time, obviously we both can't do it at the same time.
You can't.
So they're just inserting that little morsel of spirit channeling rules again into our lexicon here.
It's you can't channel the person if they're not actually dead or if someone else is doing it. But we're pretty sure Dahlia's dead, so.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I can't think of a single reason why someone would want to channel Dahlia Hawthorne.
So we've established all these rules for how spirit channeling works, when you can and can't do it, and how it changes your appearance, all that good stuff. We set them all up, and now, as you both had requested in case 2-2 that you wanted actual spirit channeling to become the crux of the case and not just fake spirit channeling that people were pretending, here we finally get to drag it out into court.
Yeah, ghost
And
law.
as we begin the courtroom segment, you start to first go back and forth with Iris's testimony, because she comes out and says, okay, I spoke with Godo before the court. I'm going to confess to being an accomplice. I desecrated Misty Faye's body with the sword, the seven-bladed sword, and I did this all to hide that it was Maya who actually killed her. It was Maya who killed her own mother, and I hid the evidence.
It's always
And so
Maya, huh?
Yeah, so Maya is now under accusation of murder, because, of course, we can't be the final case unless we're also defending Maya, too, in a roundabout way. Go ahead.
I really like this bit right here, because a lot of the accusations that happen right now are similar to her case that happened earlier in this game. Where, like, they're like, oh, you know, there are some parts of this that, like, are just super similar to case 3-1, where Mia was the attorney and she was going against Dahlia Hawthorne's testimony, and it was just like, oh, you know, they had their back in a certain way, and it was like, well, you remember how in the first case the handprint was on the front of Doug's jacket, and Dahlia said they pushed him from behind, and in this case Misty Faye was stabbed in the back, but then Iris was like, oh no, she was stabbed in the front, and I was like, huh, you got the same mistake in reverse. What's up with that? How come you're making the same ass fucking mistake, Cyrus?
Sometimes you just don't know your fucking directions very well. Sometimes
Yeah.
you don't remember what's left and what's right.
If I
Shout
punch
out
you in
to all
the
my
front
homies
versus,
who don't know which is left and which is right.
I'm pretty sure that someone got punched in the chest versus punched in the back, they would be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, we haven't found out yet.
That's
We'll
true.
see.
But then, like, then Phoenix in his fucking Giga Brain mode goes like, wait, is Iris blaming Maya? What's up with that? Why would she set up Maya? That's so mean. It's so mean, guys.
Because as we all know, self-defense is meaningless.
Well, and also you drag out the details then here that Misty Faye is obviously Maya's mother, so why would they be attacking each other? And then, unfortunately, though, with all the evidence coming up, though, you still don't convince the judge. And he's like, well, let's just move on to testimony about how Iris is covered up the crime and how she moved Misty Faye's body. And so Larry's illustration comes back up.
Hell yeah.
Tiago gets to be right again.
I love
and yes, if you listen to last episode, Tiago was dead on. The drawing was upside down, and instead of being a flying body going over the bridge, it is a body that is swinging underneath the bridge, suspended by a rope to the other side of the ravine so that they could move the body across the impossible gap as the bridge was on fire. This also adds context to the 10-foot drop that Misty Faye's body appeared to go through. And everybody thought, oh, it must have fallen from the second floor. But no, it was part of this maneuver.
Here's what fucks me up the most is that during this segment, Iris is claiming that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. And therefore, if that lines up the weather report, that means the bridge was already burning because the bridge got struck by lightning during the snowstorm, not after.
Mm-hmm.
I was on this fucking segment for 30 minutes because I didn't know which piece of testimony to present to the weather data.
Yeah, okay. Same issue.
I was like, clearly the line that I added to the testimony about the snow would be the one that I would present the weather data to.
You would think.
You would fucking think.
You would fucking think so.
And that's where I got stuck. And then
yeah, you have to go back to the other one.
I was
to,
so
like,
mad.
Statements
also,
back or whatever.
Tiago, that's like my only major. Like everything else
it clicked right into place for
played
me.
really smoothly for me, but that I was like, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? And I did go check a guide, and it was like, you actually need to present it to this one. And I was like, why aren't both of them an option? Why?
So then it reveals that like Iris didn't know that the bridge was burning, because then she wouldn't have lied about her test, and she also didn't know about the pendulum swing.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Why the fuck was there a pendulum?"
Right. She's like, "This is insane."
that is insane. And then,
I mean, it is a preposterously goofy maneuver to swing a body underneath a burning bridge.
Is this more goofy than the fact that in that circus case where the cape got into the statuette as it was floating out?
It's not as goofy as that.
It's not that goofy, but it's still
that was pretty stupid though.
It's still a bit of a stretch, but I love the little graphic that they make of it moving, and then the little thunk at the end. I keep expecting there to be a sound effect when it would go to the other side.
So, like, the way that they're able to confirm that, like, yes, this pendulum thing did occur is because the ball got dropped out of the staff at that exact moment where the pendulum would have ended, like, at the other side of the pendulum. So, like, it made sense. And then this is the part where apparently Iris took the body, brought it to the temple, and tried to take the sword out and dress up the scene as something else, right?
Yeah.
But then we have a wonderful question. How can Iris be at two places at once? Both be at the other side, at both ends of the pendulum. It's impossible.
Right. But also not know about the pendulum.
But also
the third time.
know about the pendulum.
So yes, how could that be the case? And having this contradiction being brought out on the stand, Iris all of a sudden does her whole heel turn, and you get to say, well, guess what? I think that you are not actually Iris. You are Dahlia Hawthorne. And she goes, I see I've been found out, that whole bit. And yes, it is actually Dahlia Hawthorne being channeled live on stage
on
in
national
the middle of this
television.
Courtroom.
Also, like, the judge is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the judge is just like,
he figured it out.
Non-questioning after it happens. He just doesn't pop up for like 20 minutes.
He straight up, I think what happens is that in that 20 minutes, he pulls out the old cult magazine and starts flipping through it underneath his desk.
Furiously Googling.
Like, the other people are discussing, like, how the fuck could this be the ghost of Dahlia Hawthorne? And meanwhile, the judge is, like, hunched over with, like, a note written on his hand, be like, if ghost is called up, read Occult magazine.
So Dahlia says, well, guess what? Excuse me. Guess what, motherfuckers? I'm dead. You can't do anything to hurt me. So guess what? I'm happy to testify and tell you all about how Maya really did kill her mom. I was there. I saw it happen. I was originally trying to kill Maya, but then, she was the one who ended up stabbing her mother. So I can prove it. And then Maya jumped into the river in her guilt for killing her own mother. So I've got it all figured out, And so you start to break down her testimony. And in fact, even Godo is kind of like, Phoenix, this doesn't line up. Like, even he kind of is like, check your evidence, Phoenix.
Yeah, literally, like, I think
don't get too freaked out about Maya supposedly killing herself. Like, no, I don't. He's like, don't believe that, right?
Also, the fact that, like, we find out that the person who channeled Dahlia in the first place was actually Misty Faye. Like, that's...
Yes, that's true. Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yes.
That's why...
The very first time that, Dahlia was channeled, it was Misty Faye as a maneuver to, hopefully, I guess, protect people,
To stop her from Pearl from channeling her, because as fucked up as all of this is, it would be extra fucked up if she used Pearl's body to
do all this. Yeah.
Like, too much. Ooh.
That would have been a lot. Yeah. Also, that would have meant that Pearl would have been the one stabbed in the back, and I can't handle that information.
That gets addressed later at the very end of the case.
He's like, if Pearl was the one to channel the thing, then all these events would have occurred, and then Pearl would have been the dead one, which is a huge bummer.
Yeah.
And also, there is then basically like you get your moment. You get your moment where you start to piece everything together, and you're like, okay, hang on. So if Misty Faye channeled her originally, but now Misty Faye is dead, and we know where everybody else is, then because Godo gets the call, then he gets the phone call saying Iris has been found in the inner temple. Maya's nowhere to be seen in there. So that you opened up all those locks. You thought Maya was shivering in the cold behind all these locks, and we were trying to get to her before she died of hypothermia. But no, it's Iris in there, and she's totally fine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so
Dahlia switches places literally grabs Iris and throws her into the cage, basically.
During the earthquake, where Miles lost track.
Yes, yeah. When Edgeworth lost track during the Edgeworth, they did a switcheroo. Basically, that was when they did their switcheroo to get Dahlia out.
Oh, and Francisca spends like 12 hours straight solving puzzle locks to try and get Maya out.
Yeah,
she doesn't even come to court.
Yeah,
it's good shit. And so obviously, who's the one person who could be channeling Dahlia then? And Wright even asks Dahlia, he's like, who do you think is channeling you right now? And she's like, well, obviously it's Pearl, obviously. And Wright's like, no, I saw Pearl in the lobby before I came into court. She's like, oh, fuck.
That's right, motherfucker.
It's Maya. Maya has been channeling you the whole time.
Maya didn't throw herself into the river because from her edge she would have landed on a cliff and died.
Yay!
And so then Pearl pops over channeling Mia. So Mia shows up at Phoenix's side here. And Mia and Phoenix then proceed to taunt and ridicule Dahlia back to back, like the two of them like
fuck
going tag teaming her and going like, guess what? You're a failure. You tried to kill, Maya, but you failed. You're a loser. Every single murder that you've tried to do that we've had a case about, you failed at big time. Now you're dead, and you're gonna have to live for all eternity with the memory of you failing at like your most important job that you ever put together. And Dahlia's like super pissed, and we get like a cool like exorcism scene essentially, in which the spirit
coolest sprite in the entire game.
Yeah, this great moment of like a transparent ghostly spirit of Dahlia like coming up out of Maya's body, and then the flames in the shape of a Magatama, like,
and like
left behind after she disappears.
It's so good.
It's really great.
Here's the thing that actually kind of fucks me up the most, and it's glad that Dahlia didn't think about this. If I was Dahlia and I learned the body I'm currently inhabiting is Maya, the person I'm trying to kill, I'll just bite my own fucking tongue out, right? Like, that's the moment where I would have fucking done it.
I was so afraid I was gonna have to jump the barricade to stop her from stabbing herself with, like, a pen,
Exactly.
Right.
If I learned that I'm currently in the body of the person I'm trying to kill, you can bet your fucking ass off that while Phoenix, Wright, and Mia were taunting me, I'd be like, hey, you know what's fucking funny? This, and then Joker tricked myself.
I thought they were going to have a harder time getting her out of Maya's body. I figured they were going to use the hood.
In Exorcism?
Oh, yeah, the hood would have made sense.
That actually would have made a lot of sense. It turns out, in order to perform an exorcism, all you need to do is fucking roast the ghost.
Bitch, you suck. Get out of here.
Welcome to Phoenix and Maya's Ghost Roast.
You need to fucking cook them on stage.
Phoenix, Wright, and Co.
The stenographer recorded all of this. The stenographer wrote down "Ghost appears above defendants."
Oh my god, that poor stenographer. When's my Ace Attorney game where I get to play as the court stenographer?
That'd actually be sick. Where you play as a stenographer and you get to like try to solve the mystery by reviewing your own type. That's actually a cool game idea.
Like I'm just like a nice little lady types really fast and like, here we go.
Looking down over your glasses.
Yeah. Well,
all this shit.
While you watch like an 18-year-old girl like hit multiple grown men with a whip in court.
I the thing that fucking gets me is the fact that, like, after the ghost disappears, Phoenix goes to the judge and be like, yo, so you're, like, super cool with all this ghost stuff, right? And he goes, yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I try to be open-minded.
It's very funny to me.
Unlike your shitty brother who can fuck off. I'm so glad he wasn't here.
He actually calls out his brother for being closed-minded. And he's like, that's where me and my brother are different. You see, I'm willing to accept strange concepts. It's like, wow.
You have to be. Magic is real, I guess.
Magic is real, and it's involved in a fucking murder case. So, the most crazy thing about Dahlia's testimony is that, she doesn't know who stabbed her and just assumed it was Maya. Because she's like, oh yeah, all I saw were the whites of Maya's eyes, and then I went unconscious. And I assumed that, and then when I woke up, I was hovering over Misty Faye's body. That's the first hint you should have had that Maya was channeling you, by the way, Dahlia, so fucking fie on you. So now we're just like, alright, well, clearly someone stabbed the body of Misty Faye from the back, so who did it? And then it's like, well, who do we have left for testimony? It's like, well,
it's just Maya.
There's the weak, whimpering body of Maya Faye, like, on the floor, and it's like, I guess she'll do.
They give her 10 minutes. They take a recess, and they give her 10 minutes to recover, and Mia goes... Yeah, Mia goes to Maya and talks to her. We don't get to see the scene, but she comes back, later and tells Phoenix, like, hey, I went and I talked to Maya, and I told her everything. And Phoenix is like, everything? And she's like, yeah, everything. So she knows about her mom, she knows about Pearl, she knows about Iris and Dolly. Like, she knows everything now. She's fully informed on all this shit.
Past talk.
Yeah, and Phoenix is like, damn, are you sure about that? Mia's like, yeah, don't worry, she's strong, she can handle it.
I'm just imagining Mia, like, snapping her fingers above Maya's face, being like, hey, wake up, listen, I got a lot of shit to say. You
guess what? Our mom's dead, by the way.
Our mom's dead.
For real this time.
Yeah.
For real this time.
Talking really fast, like an auctioneer.
All right, Iris and Dahlia are twins. They're the ones who covered up the body. Pearl's okay. Trust me, Pearl's okay. There's gravy on the
physically anyway. Pearl's physically okay, but emotionally devastated.
Devastated. This is all planned by Morgan Fay. Morgan Fay planned this whole thing. Made a letter up, put it in the old house in the Korean manor. Someone read it before Pearl did, and then Pearl grabbed it. Tried to follow the instructions. Almost killed you. It didn't kill you, though. Your mom almost killed you. Someone killed your mom. So Pendulum swung her like a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh monster.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, Maya, do you know about pendulum summoning?
And then, at the end of all that, Mia then turns around and says, also, by the way, bye, you gotta do this one on your own, and disappears.
Well,
and
fine.
Phoenix is by himself in the courtroom now to do this final segment. And also, it's very funny because Godo indeed taunts him about it. He's like, you always have a strong woman by your side to help you out, Phoenix. You never do it on your own.
Mr. Godo, we need to talk about the rampant increase in casual sexism that you're suddenly displaying.
Is it?
Yeah,
wait,
just wildly old-timey, like...
You always have... He's machismo. He's like an old macho dude being like, a man has to protect women, and like you always have a strong, beautiful woman on your side. Cover your back, Phoenix. That's why you're a weakling trite. And it's like,
yeah, exactly. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
Also, buddy, what? Who cares? There's ghosts.
Yeah,
There's
you
ghosts.
yourself claim to have been resurrected from the dead
To like solve consistently. Also, by the way, dude, if you have to receive, like, injections every couple of days or so to keep your body going, why the fuck are you drinking coffee all the time? That can't be good for you.
It's probably not good, she said, drinking coffee right now while recording the podcast.
The thing about
that's just
the
last 5% that's keeping him going, As soon as he lets any caffeine, levels in his system drop below a certain threshold...
Yeah, his injections are pure caffeine.
Oh, he's just
That's
Jason Statham from Crank. Like, if he doesn't keep his adrenaline level a certain...
Perez, yeah, if his adrenaline drops too low, he just fucking dies. Are you just gonna let him die?
Yeah, maybe!
So, the craziest shit happens is that we now have to have Maya testify. She's, like, delirious, but also in her delirium is lying about something, and it's like,
and she's deliberately doing so. She's protecting somebody,
but just
she's
not very
covering up.
not very well. But poor Maya.
Yeah, she's covering up for the killer, and Phoenix is like, Maya, why? I am trying to help you, Maya. Please,
also
stop doing this.
Maya once again proving that she's my favorite witness because her testimonies are always so easy to break.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I was, like, struggling with Iris because I was like, I don't know what the fuck you want from me.
You mean Dahlia?
I mean Dahlia, because that wasn't Iris.
It was Dahlia. That's why she was so fucking annoying.
That's why she was so fucking annoying. And meanwhile, Maya's like, well, I don't know, the lantern was on, and I'm like, Maya, come the fuck on. The lantern wasn't on, and we all know it, alright? It was pitch fucking black. You're a liar. Yeah, well, she's
so
like,
how could you have seen the killer? How did you know that the killer was a man, which she testifies to? You know, how did you know that information if the lights were off? And Phoenix says, bailiff, please turn the lights off in the courtroom, and the bailiff does it instantly. No
He's been
hesitation.
fucking waiting for that moment.
He was,
his hand was on the switch the whole trial.
And
Yeah.
you do like everyone does in a classroom. If somebody turns the lights off, you all start screaming. But apparently people did not do that. Very sad.
Yeah.
And we get a bespoke graphic.
And then the light comes back on and everyone's dead.
We get a bespoke graphic for this, which is really nice, of Godo's glowing red visor in the dark of the courtroom.
Very good.
So
it's a good moment.
So here's the thing: is that before we started this Maya testimony segment, which is the third part of the courtroom segment, we have a moment where we're like, all right, so the killer had to be someone who was not around on the first day, and the two people that I could think about who were not around on the first day was Maya. We know it's not her, and it was Pearl. And I was like, did Pearl channel Mia to defend Maya and stab her own mother in the back? Because that would be crazy.
I was sort of thinking that might have been it, but
I thought about that, and then Phoenix just goes, well, it's a man, and there was only one man who wasn't around during that day, and I was like, it's that guy? Him? Him?
Well, they couldn't find him to be in court against.
He was stuck over there.
That's why Francisca had to be there.
So.
As Iro said on the stream, I've only if I had a nickel every single time that I accused the prosecuting attorney on the stand of murder, I'd have 2 nickels. But it is weird that it happened twice.
Doesn't it happen? Wait, it happens. It happens 3 times.
Who's the third?
Wait, no, he's not the prosecutor. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you dare slay to Francisca.
No. Sorry, I was thinking. What's his name? Gant.
No,
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Chief
no,
Gant.
he's just he is the police chief, but yeah, he's not the prosecutor.
So, like,
yeah.
It's crazy to me that Phoenix isn't in his head goes, all right, instead of it being Pearl channeling the body of Mia, and that makes sense because Pearl was over there, she would absolutely do something to defend Maya, including channel someone who was probably stronger. And if I had to guess, Mia would kill somebody to protect Maya. I think that she would do it. Instead, he just...
I mean, Misty Faye was carrying heat.
Yeah, exactly!
She had a sword cane. Again, I think we should all start carrying sword canes again. I think they're the coolest shit.
I don't think I'd be able to get through an airport with a sword cane.
No, we would have to... I think everyone would just have to take the train. And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Pearl gets to carry a Glock.
An actual fucking gun?
I strongly agree.
Gun
Gun control for everyone except Pearl.
So Phoenix
because
is like,
Pearl can fucking control herself.
we gotta let Tiago finish his statement now.
I guess I just kind of lose it over the fact that, like, Phoenix just goes, all right, well, it's not Maya, and I'm not going to accuse Pearl. I guess I'll accuse Goda. Well, no.
Yeah, listen. He is technically related to the case, but you kind of have to piece it together in court. You know, obviously, yes, he was, Mia's boyfriend for a little bit, and he's mad at you for letting...
What do you mean he was Mia's
Mia
boyfriend?
Die.
That was Diego Armando. Don't bring it.
I know, you do have to do that, too, here. You have to reveal that to the court, and everybody's just like, oh, I never could have guessed that one. He looks exactly the same.
Here's what fucking got me is the fact that, like, Phoenix just goes, alright, so Mia couldn't see somebody, so it has to be someone she could identify in the dark. And when he said this line, I thought for a quick fucking second that I thought it was Phoenix who killed Misty Faye, and here's the reason for this. It's because, one, Heavy Rain is a shitty game, and two, two, I don't think we ever saw Phoenix fall into the river, right? Like, I didn't visually see that.
I visually saw it.
Oh, we visually saw it? Never mind.
We visually see it.
You were playing Phoenix at that time, and the bridge breaks when you try to run across.
Yeah, there's a still image of him falling.
Okay, never mind.
And also Larry is an eyewitness.
Oh yeah, Larry is. That's true. What I thought happened for a second was that Phoenix did make it to the other side, and we get to see the silhouette of his spiky hair, and that's how Maya knows it was a man.
And that's why she was trying to protect him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sure.
But it turned out that Maya was protecting Godot, who was just over there, I guess. He was just there.
Yeah, I mean, he read the note. He read the Pearl's note early in advance, so he knew that this was happening, and so he went over there and snuck over in advance before all the shit went down.
With the intention of protecting Maya.
Yes.
Because
he was like, well, I couldn't protect Mia, so I wanted to protect Maya. And he starts to get into it a little bit then, once you finally prove this, is that he goes, well, I rationalized it to myself that I was protecting Mia's sister, and I was trying to make good for being in a coma while Mia died, not being there to protect her. But he's like, but maybe I was just doing this to satisfy my own ego, So he starts to get a little self-reflective there at the end.
Yeah, so like,
you
break down the fact that he became a prosecutor, which put him in a position that allowed him to...
prostitute.
He becomes he becomes... Ben just going, no. He becomes a prosecutor to put himself in a position that he'd be able to keep a track on Morgan Fay and Pearl. And that's why he overheard the conversation of Morgan Fay telling Pearl, hey, there's a secret letter in my house, go get it. And at this point, Godot just sprints out of the fucking detention area or whatever.
Which is impressive because Pearl is an Olympic-level sprinter.
Exactly. It's all the caffeine.
He beat her in a foot
stamina.
race.
It's all the caffeine. You see, if Pearl had caffeine, she'd win. But so the point is that Godot learns about this plan and then decides to have an accomplice. And the accomplices are Iris and Misty Faye. He called up Misty Faye, and we're just like, wait, you knew where she was this whole time? And Godot was just like, yeah, the police were keeping tabs on her the entire time. And I'm just like, y'all couldn't fucking tell Maya that? Yeah, we all knew?
Had to keep it a secret. Because you know that the world governments and politicians would want to use her powers for evil.
Sure.
And also,
he kind of alludes to like that, like, real high up spirit mediums have been, walking in political circles and of, influencing governments and that kind of stuff. He kind of like vaguely alludes to that and is like, well, she wanted to stay hidden as a result of that, all that bullshit.
Misty Faye definitely channeled JFK.
She found out why his head did that.
Yeah. He actually just went on to say, yeah, my head just did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's no shooter.
I'll put that down. Testimony?
Don't put that down. We're not saying that. So, Godot is like, yeah, instead of contacting you, Phoenix, because I think you're a weak little infant man, you're a fucking beta male.
Mr. Godot, are we maybe projecting a little bit? Are we projecting some insecurities about yourself onto me?
I think you're a little beta male who was in a coma, who wasn't there to defend Mia Faye. And Phoenix is like, I've never been in a coma. I got amnesia once. And he's like, instead of
I was never in a coma, but I sure had a brutal head injury.
Yeah.
Instead of telling you guys not to go to this thing, I instead went, hey, I'm going to wait like a spider and wait till the opportune moment to step up and stab Dahlia Hawthorne in the back.
He specifically says, I saw her and I thought, I don't care if it is Misty Faye or Pearl, a 8-year-old girl in there. I did not care. I didn't know, and I stabbed her anyways.
I just wanted to get revenge,
Go
on Dahlia.
to jail, sir.
Yeah. And the knife that Dahlia has, she whirls around and tries to use it on Godot. And this is the final piece of evidence that you get to present is where in the world was the wound if that was the case? How in the world did she, stab Godot and he doesn't have any visible wounds on him. So where could it be? And so you present him, his profile.
That was
as the final piece of evidence.
questionable, to be honest.
But we don't have a visor as a piece of evidence.
Yeah.
So that's the closest thing. So, but yes, you say that. Well, obviously he's hiding the wound under his visor, and so then you get your last little bit there at the end where Godot tilts his head back and starts to let the tears fall, and they are blood red.
That's so cool.
It was cool. He still deserves prison.
The reason that Godot, a lot of the weird things happened at the covering up the body, hey, why is there a huge chunk of snow missing from the ground? And I was like, well, that's where the blood splatter would have been. And then just well, why don't you just scoop up the blood? It's because Godot can't see red on a white background.
Which I love that I was so proud of myself because I picked that up in the Maggie case where he doesn't see the ketchup stain.
Yeah,
and I was like, I wonder if this is going to be useful later. I think I even mentioned it on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you did,
I was right.
He has the visual of a virtual boy and only sees can't see fucking red.
If everything you see is red tinted, you won't notice.
That's why the blood scroll with Maya was on the lantern still, because he covered as much as he could see, but he didn't notice that fucking Dahlia Hawthorne and Misty Faye's body wrote down the word Maya in blood. Which also called back to the fact that someone else wrote Maya's name in blood.
Yeah.
So they keep writing her fucking name in blood.
Everybody's trying to do it. They're like, oh, it's the perfect way to incriminate somebody.
It's so mean. She's she never done anything wrong. Poor Maya.
The only crime she probably did was max out Phoenix Wright's credit card.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
Over burgers. So yeah, Godot admits to being I knew about Dahlia Hawthorne's plan, and instead of intercepting it with you, the person who probably would have been able to prevent this entire tragedy from occurring, I instead called up several people, stalked you guys, I guess, went to the inner temple, hid, fucking came out while there's some shit going down, stabbed somebody in the back, covered up a body. I'm the one who swung the pendulum. I called Iris to wait at the other side of the pendulum. And it's Godot, man, Jesus, it's 2016,
Yeah, and he still even has a little bit of his old-timey sexism left over when he's like, I should have talked to you, Phoenix Wright. You, the most important man.
Oh, yeah,
the man
good point.
in Maya's life. Rather than say, I should have talked to Maya and told her what was going on, he's still I should have talked to Phoenix about it. So, it's
I think
still a little bit of work you gotta do there, Godot.
Prison!
I think somebody should have told Pearl that, hey, you're about to be wrapped up in a murder plot. We should...
Yeah. This child.
You need to...
Almost channeled a serial murderer.
She's old enough to know, hey, your mom is not nice, and, your
and
mom's in
care
prison
about you.
for a reason.
You're, the thing about the letter is that it says at the very bottom, this is for the very good of the Fae clan, and Pearl's interpretation of that is that, well, Maya's part of the Fae clan, so this will be good for Maya, too, not knowing that this was a murder plot. And, we get to see Morgan Faye go, it's best that she doesn't know. And I'm like, someone should fucking tell her. Someone should tell her that this is a murder plot.
Yeah.
And Misty Faye doesn't tell her. Iris doesn't tell her. Fucking Godot doesn't tell her. Phoenix
Everybody failed Pearl except for me.
Except for specifically Rose.
Rose.
If a single person sat down Pearl and was like, hey, listen, so your mom, I know that she loves you, but she's in prison right now because she did a very bad thing. and may be a bad person. If you were just fucking real with her about that, maybe a fucking murder wouldn't have occurred.
Yeah.
Maybe children are actually capable of understanding things.
So
wild.
The case.
So we get Iris on the stand then, the real Iris, and she confirms, that she still did the whole, snowmobile thing, moving the body and all that stuff. But then she also reveals one other detail to Phoenix, which is that when he was dating Dahlia several years back, that he actually only met Dahlia twice. And that all the other times they went on dates together, and that Dahlia, quote unquote, was asking for the necklace back, it was actually Iris the whole time. And so she said, Phoenix, I actually did start to have feelings for you, and that's why I was trying to get that necklace back, so that I wanted to get your Netflix login.
6 months it took me.
Listen, the free trial doesn't last that long, Phoenix. And I
know.
Really,
I wanted to watch the new season of Stranger Things. Listen, I'm sorry. So she's reveals like, listen, I really liked you, Phoenix, and I was trying to keep you from getting killed by my crazy sister.
Also, she does a lot of excusing Dahlia, though. She's like, oh,
she does.
She was just doing because our father was so cruel to us. She's trying to get revenge. Like, what? Double murder.
By the way, real quick, unrelated but mostly related to what Ben just said. In 2016. They wouldn't have been able to watch Stranger Things because it didn't come out till July that year.
Oh, shit!
How the fuck do you know that?
I googled when it came out.
Oh, okay. I thought you just had that knowledge on tap for a second.
Yeah, because this case happens in February.
You could have lied and told us. You just.
I love Stranger Things so much. I only watched the first season, never watched any of the other ones.
I did quite like the first season.
Iris saw the trailer for Stranger Things. It was like, I have to get a Netflix login before it comes out. Yes. So she says, hey, Phoenix, whenever I get out of prison, wink, wink.
No.
And he's like, well, you seem like a nice lady and all that, but we'll see. Spoiler, gentle listeners. Iris never shows up again after this.
Oh my god, no!
Wait, no, we're the gentle listener in that example.
No, she shouldn't. Phoenix.
She shouldn't?
Don't you fuck... No, don't ever talk to her again!
Iris is... What's wrong with Iris? Besides the fact that she covered up a body.
She was involved
it's kind of that.
She was an accomplice, yeah.
Honestly, Iris was... Listen.
She helped Dahlia kill people and get away with it.
That is true.
We've had other people, we've had other witnesses who have also helped, with tampering with a murder scene.
Yeah.
That the game has, smiled a little more favorably.
Yeah, what about
past,
Hot Nerd Samus? She got away with it.
Wait,
What's her name? Hot Nerd Samus? I forget her name.
Adrian Andrews.
She's
in this game.
She goes to prison for a little.
Yeah, she does actually go to prison, and also, she comes off better than Iris. Iris also never apologizes for helping Dahlia. The things that she says she's sorry for are, I'm sorry I lied to you about who I was, Phoenix. I told you I was Dahlia when we were dating. So I'm sorry about that, and I'm sorry that I betrayed my sister during her first murder crime, whatever.
Because she felt bad for her.
And I'm sorry, it's all my fault that I betrayed her.
She is a victim of manipulation.
Obviously, and we don't go into that. And
I will not fault her for that. I think that Iris...
I'm kind of drawing the line at helping with murder.
Yeah, that's the fucked up one, is the helping with murder thing.
It's gonna be. It's the thing is, it can't ever work out anyway because it's always gonna be a little weird. Because Phoenix's co-worker is Maya, so Iris is always sorry about that time I desecrated your mom's body. You know, like it's gonna always be a little.
Sorry, I desecrated my aunt's body.
Iris is not unsympathetic,
my own aunt. Yeah,
but
true.
she's also not like. She's not good. Like she's still bad.
I feel like a lot of times she has said, "Phoenix, I'm sorry about all this." Like, I feel like that's like every other fucking line that comes out of her mouth.
I don't know. Like, it's always stuff like, "Oh, I'm sorry I lied to you about this," or like, "Oh, I didn't mean for that to happen." Like,
I have a question.
What?
Who do you like more, Iris or Godot?
Like, as a character?
Not as a character. Like, obviously,
As
like,
a person.
As a person, Iris or Godot?
Well, points wise, one of them is a literal murderer, and one of them only helped cover up murderers.
Okay.
So I guess maybe Iris, but also like, neither of them are great. As a character, I like Godot better.
Oh, 100%. Let's be clear. Godot, I actually, despite all this, despite literally everything that was said, I like Godot.
Oh, he's very interesting.
He's
just also apparently a very misogynistic asshole.
It really came out of nowhere, too. Like, I thought he was just doing the cool...
He started saying a bunch of shit to Francisca, too, and I was like, whoa, men have died for less. Hold on.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he did establish himself by calling me a kitten.
But they were quote-unquote dating.
I know, but...
The thing about Godot is that, like, he's a stereotype of the hard-boiled, like, the cool guy. But apparently that also means that you must never respect anything of the opposite sex, I guess.
Yeah, you could do that hard-boiled, like, cowboy detective shtick while still respecting women.
But, like, it just reminds me of the, like, oh, we always have to protect the women in our lives. And it's like, I like how this makes Phoenix a feminist in comparison to Godot.
Phoenix is a feminist because he's just a decent person.
Phoenix is a feminist because he definitely knows that
all it takes to be a feminist.
All it takes it needs to be a feminist. I also love the idea that every time Phoenix is in trouble, he just goes to Maya and be like, "Hey, can you channel me real quick? I got a question about taxes." And Maya's like, "Oh yeah, let me hit her up. I don't know shit about taxes either."
That is probably their best choice, honestly.
And then we just see him ghost me and being like, "All right, so what did you write off for taxes this year?" And I was like, "Well, we can't write off all the burgers. I was like, we can write off like 50% of
all the burgers."
So the most guilty party in all of this is probably Morgan Fay, who we don't get to see like a resolution to. Right? Like,
she's in prison.
She's already in prison for conspiracy to commit murder.
Is she gonna get hanged like Dahlia did? Because I feel like that was crazy. I feel like the hanging was so intense. That did not need to happen.
I'm fairly certain that conspiracy to commit murder would be punishable by death.
Yeah, I think it's considered equal to actually committing the murder.
Yeah, to first degree murder.
Yeah. Because a lot of murder's about intention. Yeah.
Also, a lot of wild shit happened because lightning struck the Dusky Bridge.
Yeah.
The fact that a pendulum needed to happen, the fact that people are trapped, like, this plan really went pear-shaped when there was a fucking lightning strike who no one could have predicted. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, Iris is probably gonna go to jail for covering up a body. Godot probably gonna go to jail for being a murderer. Or like, I don't know, do they get coffee in jail?
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I'm just imagining Godot in like the stripy prisoner suit, but with like 2 cups of coffees, one black, one white.
His suit isn't black and white. It's it's white and red. It just looks like a white suit to him.
I mean, he's probably not gonna. If I were the judge, again, in universe, because I hate the death penalty, but like his murder was not like, it was legally like he was defending a teenage girl, you know?
Yeah, but he didn't care about like defending Maya at that point. He said like straight up like, at that point the kill was for me. He was hunting.
Yeah.
Which we do get a very cool little like still image of him with the sword. I liked that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Behind Dahlia. Yeah.
But like
from
a legal standpoint, like a decent lawyer could probably make the case that he was, not he did save a life by doing that,
Mm-hmm.
But he was literally
still murder.
The stenographer wrote down straight up. Godot said, "I didn't even care that I was defending Maya. I did it just for the kill, for revenge."
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
but...
he had a one-track mind when he saw her.
So
he wasn't thinking rationally anymore at that point.
So
I think a decent lawyer could make a case.
So we get to the epilogue, and everybody is kind of hanging out in the court lobby, and everybody's like, "Well, hey, congratulations on the case. Everything went well, but Pearl's missing." So Maya says, "I can't find Pearl anywhere. I don't know where she went. I even called Crane Village, and they said she wasn't there." And Phoenix says, "Well, let's go to Hazakura Temple. We'll go look there." And so they meet Bikini, and she's like, "Yep, Pearl's here." And so they get a brief conversation with Pearl, where you tell her, like, "Listen, Pearl, it's none of this is your fault. You have gotten trapped in a horrible conspiracy, essentially that was trying to take over the Fae clan. So like none of this is your fault, please."
Also, like,
and so
we also get a moment where like Mia goes to Phoenix and is like, "Oh yeah, why is Maya so cool about this?" So, like, Maya's a lot stronger than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's like, "Wow, Maya's pretty strong, huh, Phoenix? How come you don't think Maya's strong, you bozo?" And like, literally, Francisca's like, "Maya's so strong." Miles Edgeworth, "Maya's so strong." Gumshoes, "Maya's a strong kid." And then Phoenix is like, "Why? Why is she so strong?" And it turns out Maya's like, "Yeah, because there's a fucking 6-year-old in the other room." Like,
well, because Francisca demands that you explain why is Maya acting so chill.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I forgot.
And you got to present the evidence of Pearl.
Yeah, because Edgeworth immediately gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, there is a couple of lines that imply that a certain somebody has recently perished. Former head prosecutor Manfred von Karma is now dead. According to
they do explicitly say that.
Yeah.
Well, they say she's lost a father recently.
Yeah, and also in her intro section, it says that Manfred von Karma is no more. Like, Phoenix specifically thinks that. So I guess they could be saying like, "Oh, like his legend is dead." But
I mean, they straight up say Edgeworth is dead at one point, but he's not.
Well, that's because Edgeworth intentionally misleads everyone to believe that he's gone and offed himself in shame.
So, like, the reason that Francisca doesn't understand why Maya is strong is because Francisca doesn't have a sense of empathy.
She spent 12 hours trying to get Maya out of a cage with puzzle locks on it.
Listen, she just did that because she was like, "Oh, we need this witness to stand." You know what I mean? She would have done it just for the court case. And meanwhile, like, Miles Edgeworth is like, "I've heard of empathy once, so I guess that's why this is happening."
Oh, Miles cares about Maya. We've demonstrated that across several games.
I know. I just like saying that they're both from the Von Karma family. I think that, Maya's like, "Yeah, I have to be strong for Pearl." And then Pearl's like, "I'm 6 or 9. I don't remember how old she is. She's 6 to 9.
I think she's 8 or 9.
So, so that is kind of the case then. You get a nice little graphic at the very end, a picture that Misty took of her 2 kids, of Mia and Maya, as they broke the Ami Fae urn.
Every generation breaks the Ami Fae urn.
Yep, and Maya's crying, and Mia is just trying to put it back together, and it's a very, very cute little illustration of the 2 of them. It's a nice little bow on things.
And then we also realize that, like, Larry comes in and is like, "Guys, am I really a waste of space?" And everyone just goes, "Yes." Yes.
Poor Larry. Larry was trying to cheer Pearls up. They had like a little loser clubhouse, and he like made her potatoes with a fire. Like he was doing his best.
He asked the room, "Am I truly a Wojak?" and everyone said yes.
Oh.
Jesus.
And so then Larry's like, "Well, maybe I'll just become an artist," and everyone's like, "Yeah, I guess you did draw a good portrait of us." Like everyone's like, "Yeah, that was a decent portrait. I can't complain. You know, that was pretty good." And then we get to see the portraits, and they're pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, I have from Takumi's blog, again translated by Ash at Gyakuten Saiban Library, his final blog post that he made about Game 3. And so I'm gonna just take selections from it because it's a fairly long post. But he writes, "How did you like Ace Attorney 3, Trials and Tribulations? It's been a month since the release of the game, and I'm starting to hear the reactions of everyone. Quote, it was really fun. I have to wipe a tear away when hearing warm words like this. At first I was simply happy, but then I started hearing reactions like these. Quote, 3 is the best of them all. Ah, all the episodes until now were just laying the foundation for the final episode of 3. Oh, but it's not better than 1. If I had to rank them, I'd rank them 1, 3, 2. No, I'd say 3, 2, 1. In my heart, I want to react to that. You can't go ranking them, pal. All 3 games together are Gyakuten Saiban. But creators can be quite selfish. To those who first learned of the series with 3, if you liked it, please try out 1 and 2 as well. Anyway, over the course of these 3 years, the noise of the gavel has rung throughout the court an estimated 1,290 times, and 13 verdicts have been given. Phoenix Wright has broken out in a cold sweat 562 times.
Dude,
banged
he sure
on the
has.
desk, banged on the desk 941 times, and cried out objection 229 times. As for me, I became older by 3 years, and I'm about to finish writing my 53rd column. The important points to a story is where to start and where to end. Where to end. That has to be now. There is no end to that world. Phoenix, Maya, Mia, Miles, and Dick Gumshoe, they will keep on fighting and laughing together. I'm sure of that. Oh no, perhaps next time someone like a Tokonoko will be arrested. That's I forget exactly which character that is, but it's one of the main characters. I hope they will live on in all your hearts. There'd be nothing more wonderful than that. And it's here that I will end my column. If we have the chance, I hope that we will meet again sometime. If possible, yes, with a completely new story. And one final word. To all those people who have supported Phoenix Wright for such a long time, I want to express my thanks from my heart once again. I really am grateful. So I thought that was a nice little sweet blog post at the end there. And some interesting data about how many times all the various effects have been used, such as objection and the sweating animation and all that stuff. So yeah. Itonoko was Dick Gumshoe.
Yeah, I figured. So, I heard that name and I thought to myself, that's Gumshoe.
Yeah. I just blanked on it as I was reading it. But yeah, so maybe next time Gumshoe will get arrested.
Oh no, my man! I'll have to save him.
So yeah, speaking of the quote that Takumi listed there, we got to do a little summary for the entire trilogy. If you were to rank them,
but he said we can't
1,
rank
2, and
them.
3. How? Yeah, I know. Since Takumi just said, please don't rank them. Let's rank them.
Okay, sounds good to me.
The cops can't stop me.
Yeah, fucking drag me in court, motherfucker. I'll see you there.
Dessy, what did do you have a preference for the rank of these 3 games?
Like 1 the most. 3, and then 2.
Okay. How about you, Rose?
I'm thinking 3, 1, 2. It's very narrow between 3 and 1. 1 has more miles in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think 3 is the better game overall.
Okay.
I'm setting aside my blind love for a stupid British twink, and I am declaring that I think 3 is the better game.
How about you, Tiago?
3-1-2. 2 had a clown in it, so therefore it's the worst one.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
I think I'm also 3-1-2. But there might be a little bit of recency bias since we just finished up 3 going on there. But man, I really do like a lot of the cases in this one. It's really solid. Overall.
How'd you guys feel when the fucking cornered 1 played at the end of 3-5?
I felt so good.
It's such a good moment. It's such a good moment.
The thing about 3 is that 3 doesn't work unless you play 1 and 2 beforehand.
Right. I still think that I agree that they are one cohesive unit. You know,
yeah.
1, 2, and 3 together. You got to play them all to really get the story. But yes, you don't get that exciting moment of the original objection theme playing again in 3 if you have not had that time and distance from 1.
Exactly. You know? I also think that if I'm ranking these, I'm not including 1-5 because 1-5 was added afterwards. Because I between all of the cases, it's either this or 1-5, which is my favorite. Because I really 1-5 just slaps. It's a long one, but boy, it's worth it. But this case was literally had me at the edge of my seat the entire time. At one point, I almost thought that Pearl was going to be a murderer, and I got so fucking scared. I got so scared, y'all. I was like, oh my god, did Pearl do it? And then it turned out that there was just an asshole there named Godot. Yeah, that's how I feel. Who's y'all's favorite prosecutor?
Oh well, I think we know Rose.
Yeah, I played the 5th on this one.
I actually don't know. It's a coin flip between Kafka and Edgeworth. Kafka.
Kafka. Yeah, my favorite prosecutor is fucking Kafka.
Von Karma or Edgeworth.
Yeah. No, it is very close, but I am still gonna have to go with Edgeworth. I do love Francisca though.
Yeah, we know.
I liked Godot. I liked him. I thought he was good. I just am also happy he's in prison, but Miles he thinks he killed his dad. He's been it's so good.
He just like sad boys.
I do. I like a sad boy. I like Phoenix. Phoenix is sad. That's great.
How about you, Dessy? Do you have a strong preference for a prosecutor?
I wouldn't say strong preference. I think I prefer Godot over Edgeworth only because when I started playing the games, Edgeworth drove me fucking insane. But Godot was always kind of funny and just the different atmosphere from just an obnoxiously annoying prosecutor.
This 24-year-old child.
Yeah, Edgeworth was kind of annoying. Francisca was really annoying. And then Godot was just, he's just there drinking coffee. He's just there to help move the plot along.
Ben?
Oh, interesting. You're throwing it to me. Yeah.
Zag on him.
Surprise.
Never let him know my next move.
Yeah, no, I probably would also go with Godot as my favorite. And then for Francisca and Miles, we're pretty close here, but I'd probably have to put Miles just a smidge above Francisca, just because he gets a little bit more interesting character development overall compared to Francisca. So, but there's some stuff coming up later. Some characters that I also really like. Prosecutor-wise, so I'm excited for everybody to see those in the future.
Oh, yeah.
That I might like more than these.
I have the artwork of Dual Destinies on my shelf above my head right now. So, and there's just that guy on the cover, and I'm like, who the fuck is that guy?
Tiago knows more than me.
He's got a bird.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Don't tell me anything! No, listen, I know 2 things about Dual Destinies.
It's 3D, I think.
There's a girl with the top hat who's a magician, and
Wait, what?
If that's all you know about her, I'm very excited for you to meet her.
And also I know because I was again on Tumblr, and this was the hot thing was Hobo Phoenix. So I know that a Hobo Phoenix exists, and that's it.
It's funny that you're talking about Dual Destinies when that's game 5.
Yeah, that's
What,
the
really?
next game.
Yeah, you're talking about a different game, so you actually don't know a goddamn thing about
I'm
this.
so excited!
You're actually describing stuff from game 4, the next
Cool.
game. So,
Great!
So you actually don't know anything about 5. So yeah, it worked out.
Oh my god, is Top Hat Girl also from a different game?
No, she's in that game
She's from
too.
4. She's in 4. That's where you'll meet her.
You'll meet Top Hat
Oh
Girl
my
there.
god.
So,
I fucking
no,
don't know
yes,
shit.
Tiago.
no,
Top Hat Girl was the reason I started playing the game, because when I went to my first anime convention, the person that we were rooming with in the hotel was dressing up as her for the con.
That's sick. That is actually sick. Oh, I could do a Gumshoe cosplay.
Oh yeah,
That'd be really
so
cool.
cute.
you'd have to shave your face.
I'll shave my face. I'll just have 3 strands. Just 3 really long beard hairs. My favorite prosecutors in order are Godot, Edgeworth, and Francisca. I think Francisca, unfortunately, gets the short end of the stick here because her characterization happens over the course of 2 games as opposed to the other 2 who get like really good characterization in their own game.
Also, like, we all agree that 2 is not the best of the games.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Like
2 is
unfortunate
2 is,
for her.
I think 2 had too much of swing cases. Like 1 was really good, and then 1 was really bad, and then you kind of have to leave that bad taste in your mouth.
the thing about 2 is that like the final case doesn't really involve Francisca von Karma. That's the problem. Like
Right, you get Miles in that instead.
And I was
it's
happy
like,
to see him and see them interacting, but I wish that there had been more, you know?
if I have no basis of saying this, but if I was the one in charge, I would have had Miles show up on the case almost before the last one, which would have been the clown case, which would have been hilarious.
I'd
So,
like to see him suffer.
So then Francisca comes back to finish the Neo Steel Samurai or whatever. Godot I like the most because I love hard-boiled detective types. I think that's cool and funny. A lot of his bits were coffee related. That's very good. The fucking sprite of Miles Edgeworth holding a coffee cup was fucking what? I saw that and I was like,
You
look
mean
like
Phoenix, right?
Oh, Phoenix, right? That's what I meant. Who did I say?
Edgeworth.
Miles.
Miles.
I would have gotten
meant-
real excited, actually, if Miles
I was
had
like,
had
wait,
a
did I
coffee
miss
cup.
something?
No, the sprite of Phoenix Wright having a coffee cup, it like he didn't look human in that sprite, and I was like, what is happening? I like Godot a lot. Miles Edgeworth I like a lot because I feel like Miles Edgeworth needed 3 games for me to like him, and therefore I liked him. Francisca, if there was just another game with her in it, I'd probably like it more. I
don't know if I could handle the whipping anymore.
I do kind of wish that someone just like cut the whip in half. Like we gotta get that fucking thing away from her.
It's fine.
Francisco von Karma apologist.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So yeah. That's the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
We've done it, folks. We've made it through the entire original trilogy.
Here's the saddest part is that I think I'm hungry for more.
I mean, it was good.
Well, I have
no
good
shortage
news for you.
of
We've
Ace
got more
Attorney
games
games.
ahead of us. Yeah, we got more games ahead of us than behind us. So we are going to take a slight break as far as jumping into the next game. Next time on the podcast, we are actually going to record an episode talking about Takashi Miike's 2012 live-action adaptation of Ace Attorney.
Fuck.
This movie kind of adapts the whole first game into one story, and we're going to talk a little bit about it and use that as like a little interlude before we get into Game 4, because we will need a little bit of time here to kind of like, we have some stuff coming up in real life and that sort of thing, so we thought we'd just take a little bit of a lighter thing, like just watching a single movie is much easier, and then recording an episode about that, and then after that, then we will jump into the 4th game, which is Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney Apollo Justice.
That's my son. He's my son.
I'm so excited. I hear there's a boy in there.
It's got a lot of really cool stuff in it, and it will have
Wait,
some
there's
new
a
gameplay.
Boy? Are there any girls?
There are boys and girls.
We talked about this. There's a
In this
top hat
game.
girl.
Why?
Oh yeah, top hat girl.
Yeah. And we are also probably going to do at some point here, I don't know the exact weekend we'll do it here, but we will probably also do another stream in which we show Tiago and Rose a whole bunch of cool concept art for these...
And official art.
For these first 3 games. Yeah. That will show some, like, the original ideation for Phoenix and Edgeworth and what they could have looked like, and there's some really good stuff in there that I think everybody will like. And so we're going to do that at some point where we're going to do a little fun PowerPoint stream and take a look at all that stuff, because I think that would be really, really neat. So be sure to join us for that. If you want to get alerts for when that happens and when the next episodes go live, you can follow us on Twitter at AceAttorneyPod. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at Yotseben. Dessy, where can people find you?
Yes, this is Des on Twitter.
And Tiago?
They can find me at Tiago S. Dutra. I will be demoing an application that I made very soon. I'll tweet about that.
Okay. And Rose?
You can find me at Traumarts on Twitter, where you can please buy my art, and you can also find me at Rose Nonsense.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We hope you'll rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Please.
Like I said, next episode we'll be watching the Takashi Miike live-action Ace Attorney movie, which if you want to watch it yourself, you can find it on YouTube and Apple TV, I believe, but it is pay to view. It's not just streaming for free on any of those services, unfortunately. I looked around to see if Netflix or anybody had it, and it's just, as far as I can tell, the only way to get it is VOD.
We would never say to go download it illegally.
Not if we want Capcom to ever give us any cool merch or anything.
Phoenix
Why would
would send us
Capcom ever
to
give
fucking
us-
prison.
They're never going to give us shit.
Give us the time of day.
I'm not saying that. I want to be clear. We're not saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not. So, and then, like I said, follow us on Twitter where you can see the streams and YouTube uploads for all of our Let's Plays, including Dessy and Iro and I finishing up the finale here. So if you wanted to watch what we just talked about, you can do so there. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking around, and we will see you next time. Bye.
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 Bye.